You are listening to Go Youth Podcast with Ali SA. So, let's talk about all the societal issues affecting the youth, issues such as relationships, money, and many more. Lucky thing is that you can listen to Go Youth Podcast in the comfort of your own home. Go Youth Podcast by the youth, for the youth, about the youth. You are listening.
Good evening, Africa. My name is Ali. I'm not alone tonight. I'm with my brother here, Mo Africa's a gentleman. The only man who's joining me in the show for tonight. We also have our brother here by the name of Ibn Mabowa, who's busy trying to connect. I believe that he might be experiencing some technical issues. Tonight's motion is going to be one of the dope motion ever, which I believe most of the South Africans, they have the interest actually, or they have the appetite to digest this motion. More Africans and gentlemen, my brother, please mute at your side while you're not speaking so that the audio can be loud and clear. Now, loud and quickly, we are all aware that South Africa in Africa is one of those countries in Africa which is having a lot of undocumented foreigners. According to the report that you are getting is that in 2019, there were about 4.2 million international migrants in South Africa. And this figure actually, it actually unconfirmed, which was actually shared by the AfricanSACounty.com/2018/10/ how many immigrants live in South Africa. Now, this actually, it constituted around about 7.2% of the entire population. Out of this population, I could say out of this group, there was around about 2 million women who are in South Africa, who are undocumented. For tonight, we have invited Mo Africa Sijeme and Ibn Mabua, and to come and assist us to digest this motion, as we see that we have a lot of foreigners in South Africa who are undocumented. My brother here is Mo Africa Sejema. Mo Africa, please introduce yourself, my brother. Unmute and introduce yourself to the house. Where are you joining us from, my brother?
Hey, thank you, Ali. Good evening, everyone. I'm joining this podcast from Limpopo, South Africa. Basically in Ramphahlele, Mashite 125. My name is Mo Africa Chama. I'm here tonight with you. Gonna share and discuss a lot about this issue affecting our country or happening in our country.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mo Africa Sijama. Thank you so much, my brother. Looks like if Mr. Evans Mabowa, the one who also has to join us, might be having some technical issues. We'll find us along the way. Now, let's go through, my brother, into the motions that we're having for tonight. You know, this motion, you are the one who actually requested me to come with this motion to the house, that we have to engage on undocumented foreigners in South Africa. Now, very quickly, my brother, I'm aware that we have a lot of our African sisters and our African brothers who are living in this country. I believe that most of them, they came to South Africa. The reason being for them to come to South Africa is because they are Africans and we live within the same continent as Africa. Most of them, they came to South Africa. There is a reason for them to come this side. To the countries where they're staying at, or they were staying at, there could be war, there could be a scarcity of jobs, or the conditions wherever way they stay in that side is not the same as the condition that we are living in. Some they decided to say, if this is the case, let us go to South Africa and see if we can find a better life in South Africa. Now, very quickly, Africa's German, let's look at some of the impact. What impact do the foreign national have on the South African society? The impact, I don't know whether the impact it can be in such a way that it's positive or negative methane. What impact do you think the foreign nationals do they have to the South African society?
Thank you, Ali, and thank you, the viewers. We are experiencing a high population rate in our country, South Africa, because of a lot of undocumented foreigners, or we can say refugees, because they ran or they flee from their respective countries to be in South Africa. They are causing a serious negative impact towards our economy, towards the services by the government, where the government is having a pressure of delivering the services to the people, where they are also included because they are living within our communities. But to find out that they are not even contributing to the economy or they are contributing to taxation within our community, they run businesses. Some of them, they also working in a lot of companies, especially the modernized, we call it the modern slavery in other language, because they are earning or they are being paid a lesser amount of money compared to South Africans, whereas the South African must be the first priorities. They prioritize them because most people who are owning the companies, they want to gain or they want to make a lot of by using those foreign nationals. So these people from outside country who are undocumented, they are used in various things where we can't track the crimes as now the South African government or South African population is experiencing the shootings. We are not even aware or sure of who is behind these things because they are untraceable. You cannot know who is owning this and who is not owning this because it's overpopulation where when you have a lot of cows in the kraal, some of them you'll never recognize them, but those people that are always sorry about that.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, leader. As I was saying, we're having these people in our country in a marginalized number. There are too many. They are uncontrollable. There is overpopulation. There is a high rate of crime, which is untraceable because you'll never know who is inside. Because you just find that myself love more Wandira or whatever. I'm coming from this country, Namibia or Kenya or Zambia. I'm in South Africa, but there's no one in South Africa who knows me except the community that I'm living with. They only know me as love more, and I'm helping them with blah 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 things because they are good. Yes, they do a lot of stuff that are very interesting, and then we buy from them. And then we can't say we can't buy from them because there's things that we need. So these people, they should be checked. They should come to our country with the right documents because everything that we are experiencing in this country is because we are having a high rate of these foreigners and that they are impacting our economy negatively. South Africa was doing very well the past 2 years. We did have foreigners, but it was limited number of foreigners. We didn't have this high rate of foreigners where we have in one community you can have more than 10 spaza shops owned by the foreign nationals. All of them, they just hold in the fake asylum. Even if you go, how did you come here? They won't tell you the story because they know they are here illegally. So some of these things, they happen under our watch. And then we are worried as the young people of this country or what will happen to the future generation, our sons, daughters who are growing up. What is it that is going to happen to them? Next time you'll find the very same person is part of the community, is there in the community meetings, whatever. He's part of the community because he's living with the community. Is he documented to be within this community? No. So sometimes I remember this guy was saying, we will one day be ruled by people who are not from our place, because they are in numbers, and they are affecting us negatively. So, my leader, they are affecting
All right.
this country
Yeah.
positively.
So you are believing that you're saying that the people that we have in South Africa, which I refer to them as our African brothers and African sisters. To me, I'm saying that we have to assist them. If in Zimbabwe, Malawi, Burundi, wherever they have issues, and when they come to South Africa, yes, we encourage them to come to South Africa legally. So, but the question that I want to ask Marida, how do we expect our African brothers and African sisters to leave their African countries to come to South Africa properly, knowing that these people, they don't have income, they don't have money that can assist them to get permits, they don't have money that can assist them to get the passport to come to South Africa. How do we, my leader, how do we explain that? How do we expect these people to have proper documentation from the other African countries to come to South Africa? Don't you think the reason for these people to actually escape their countries to come to South Africa, it is because they're having issues that side and they don't have money for them to be able to get proper documentation. Remember the Agenda 2063, which is coming from the African Union, when they say there should be a free trade of movement. I mean, there should be a free movement in terms of Africans, which means one African can be able to move to the other African countries as long as they can come with the African passport. That can work. But the question, how do we expect our African brothers and African sisters to be able to cover the cost of getting the documentation for them to be able to leave their African countries to come to South Africa? How do we expect them to get that money from? Because basically they don't have income. Where they're coming from? How do we expect them to get the income for them to get the documentation? Don't you think for them to be able to cross the borders illegally to come to South Africa, it's because they are starving? They are looking for a way for them to be able to be safe. Some of them today, they could not be alive. Some of them today, as you speak, they could have been perished. Most of them, as you speak today, they could have been starved due to hunger. But because they came to South Africa, they are able to work. Whatever this job that they're doing, that's why today they're able to live. What's your view on that, Madida?
Thank you, leadership. The issue here is towards managing our country so that we can trace each and every one within the country. So these people, they are here, and then we understand that Africa is a very poor country, and then we have South Africa, which is much better in terms of poverty. We're still having the very poverty situations within our country, South Africa, where there are people starving. There are people starving within our country. There is United Nations which can intervene and assist in terms of managing these people or making the right documentations for them to travel from and to their respective countries. There is the governance in South Africa. There is a governance in South Africa where we can sit down with the governance of the respective countries, where we see the majority of their residents coming within our country. In the likes of Ethiopia, we have a lot of Ethiopians here. They are occupying towns, especially those towns that they are becoming dilapidated, the portion of towns that are becoming dilapidated. So we are having a lot of Zimbabweans within our country. We're having a lot of Mozambicans, Burundis, brothers. Those countries can come together with South African governance. We discuss the way forward, how we can intervene, how we can win over this. Because the issue for them to come within our country, first, is the poor governance. Governance which we have in South Africa, we're experiencing it now in South Africa. Now, my leader, we're just discussing about the load shedding. If we raise the issue of load shedding, you'll see that somehow, somewhere, this thing is somehow unreasonable, because you're buying electricity, I'm buying electricity. People are paying bills for electricity. Those governance buildings are the ones which are owing electric bills. It shows that we are having the poor governance. So Africa as a whole, the issue might be the poor governance, which is causing people to migrate from one place to another. Even South Africans, I was telling my younger brother today that we are soon going to migrate from here to Botswana. Sooner, we are sooner. Soon it might be 10 years from now, but we will migrate from South Africa because it's no longer a peaceful place. People are being shot every day. People are being attacked, robbed, raped. We see a lot of cases that are being reported. But how are these people getting to our country? They're getting to our country because they come illegally. So who are the people working around the borders to protect our countries? Those people, you'll find that they are also corrupt. The issue of corruption is there occurring because you cannot let me pass and then let me to stay in a country whereas you are the one who had the card. If someone trespasses into my house and I have a security on the door, the security has to be blamed for the passing of this person to interfere into my house. So the issue in our country is that we are having a lot of corrupt leaders in our governance. So these corrupt people, they are not eligible to manage the control the population within our country. So we have to have the strict rules to manage.
All right. Yes, my leader. Yes, my leader. You're still trying to make a point there. You're saying that the government doesn't have proper control of the foreign national. Let me ask you this question very quickly, my leader. Um, does like because I want to understand this one. Does immigration cause unemployment in South Africa? Do you believe that that's the main reason in South Africa today we have a lot of graduates who are South Africans whom are unemployed, and we see a lot of people who are skilled or unskilled not even being able to fill the job market? Do you believe that there's this immigration or this undocumented our African brothers and African sisters, do you believe they're the ones who might be causing unemployment?
Thank you again, my leader. I do believe that this African brothers of ours, we are all Africa. We come from Azania, is a continent, one nation, one Azania. So these brothers and sisters from our respective countries within Africa are the reason why South African people are experiencing high unemployment rate. At first, I will start with nannies. Our nannies at homes, our respective homes that have nannies, they are no longer hiring South Africans. They're hiring our women from Botswana. They're hiring women from Lesotho. They're hiring women from Zimbabwe, Mozambique, whatever. Because those people, they know that they are going to pay them the little money. Because those people, yes, they come from their countries. They are hungry. As you have mentioned before, they are very hungry. They are coming from a very drastic, poverty situations where someone will sleep without eating anything or even wake up until they sleep again. So they are taking advantage of them. That is why you find there is an adjustment of the rates, how employees in South Africa has to rate. There's no employee in South Africa who is supposed to earn less than 3,500. But you find there are some people who are still paying the nannies 1,500 for looking after their babies, cooking, doing laundry for them. And then again, we are going to SMMEs, the small medium enterprises. Those people who are getting tenders, they are hiring these brothers from respective countries for their gain. You'll find that our brother is working or building a big RDP house just for a mere 400 rand. An RDP house is a big, it's 3 bedroom and blah blah. So that thing, it tells you it's somehow gonna be very, very, very difficult for us to manage this situation as our South African brothers and sisters who are in the position of hiring levels. They are using our African brothers in their own advantages for them to benefit. Even if you go to some government institutions, you find our brothers from Zimbabweans, where in a lot of countries outside. And when you see them, they're already having the IDs of South Africans. How do they accumulate those IDs? because they are corrupt and they want to benefit via them. So when someone is getting a tender of 20 rand, they want to gain 15 rand and
So
deliver
how
5
does immigration affect unemployment? How does it affect employment?
it affects employment very, very, very effectively. So, because these people are employable as they are going to be paid the lesser amount. So, our South African brothers, graduates who are in South Africa, it's not easy for them to even get a general work opportunities, because that general work opportunities is supposed to serve or assist in reducing the rate or the percentage of unemployment in our country. We know that there is a scarcity of employment in our country. We need to have a proper implementation on how, or a proper criteria in how to hire and fire. So you find a graduate in South Africa working in South Africa, but that person
Yeah.
coming from another country, he's not even eligible or having any document that is supporting the work they are doing, but you find them, they are doing that work. So our people in South Africa, governance is failing us in that way. Even private sectors, most of private sectors, especially mining and other private sectors, they are there, or this, let me say, they are there.
Yeah.
Private sectors, they are there, but they are taking these people into consideration, because they all they care about is profit. You'll find that these people are working close to 12 hours, but the money that they are paid is lesser than expected. Me, as a South African person, when I work 7 hours, I know it's 7 working hours, a good condition, to 9 hours. So after that, working to 12 hours, I know it's overtime and I'm going to demand it. But that person from Zimbabwe or from Uganda or from wherever country, because they are coming from their countries, suffering and running, trying to have something to put in their stomachs, they don't care about that rates or whatever. As long as there is a bread at the end of the day on the table, they are sorted. They don't care about those things. So you will see that we need to change as South Africans. We need to view life in other perspective view. We are aware that the government is failing us. So what are we doing? We can't just sit and come here on broadcast and cry with Ali every day and say our government is failing. What are we doing? So we should encourage each other, guys. It's time for change. I remember the words of Dr. Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela. I quote him. He said, if ANC does to you what apartheid government did to you, do to ANC what you did to apartheid government. Why are we being loyal to the government which is not even caring about us? You see, a lot of MPs, member of parliament, they are madalas. In my hood, a man with above 6 years is not even eligible to go to work. He must stay at home, read a newspaper, or do something to help the community. Why do we have those people in the governance? Even Sir Ramaphosa is not even eligible to contest for presidency. He's old. He's an old man. He's sleeping. If you see a lot of events where he attends, always he's on close eyes, sleeping. He's tired. So we are not politicizing this. It's a serious issue that needs to be attended to. Young people has to be taken into consideration, and we need young people who are revolutionized, or they are willing, or they have the love of this country at heart. Not someone who is willing to enrich themselves or friends, their families, or whatever. We need people. Take someone who you know is having a passion. There are people who we know, and there are people who they can identify that this person is eligible. He's having the passion of being a leader. Why are you closing the taps for that guy? Because it's not going to benefit them, because it's realistic.
Yeah, it definitely makes sense, Mali. It definitely makes sense. I see that there's a comment here that is coming from Nkateko Dlamini, saying that we don't have a government in this country, which I believe she or he is referring to South Africa. Now, I just want to get your view. I just want to get your view on something here. Okay, I see that Events was sending us a message saying that he was having some technical issues in order for him to connect. I believe he'll connect as time we go. Now, I want to check with you when you're saying that the undocumented foreigners are actually causing a harm to the South African employment because of they're actually bringing cheap labor to this country. And when it's cheap labor, it simply means that our our South Africans, they'll prefer using them because they are quite cheaper. Now, let me ask you this question. Do you think those who are documented properly and working high position, the likes of doctors, scientists, and other fields researchers, are you aware that these people are bringing a huge impact into the South African economy? Are you aware of that? And secondly, are you also aware that some of those undocumented foreigners, they are hard workers? They are working so hard to a point whereby ourselves will also even benefit. What's your take on that?
Thank you again, my leader. For those one who are documented, we are very grateful to have them in our country. Even myself, if I can go to Mozambique or any country with the documents that I have, I think they will be grateful to have me there. So those who are working in a higher positions with the right document came in this country with the right documents. We are very grateful to have them because they are helping our country in terms of anything they are saving the country with. And their services are well acknowledged and appreciated. So for those undocumented, hardworking people, we also have hardworking people in South Africa. The issue is that they are not at preferences of those eligible to hire them. That is why you find young South Africans, they lost hope. If you go around and sit with young men in South Africa who just finished their grade 12,
who is to be blamed? Who is to be blamed? Do we have to blame these undocumented foreigners, our African brothers and sisters, or do we have to blame the South Africans whom are actually employing them? Who is to be blamed? Because our brothers and sisters, they don't have a problem. Yes, we acknowledge that they came to Africa. They came to South Africa because they don't have proper documents. That is acknowledged, and we are aware that is against the law. But the question is that who is to be blamed? Because we are also employing them.
Thank you, my leader. Those in terms of blaming, I blame both the hire or the employer and them, because in the first place they are trespassing. You come into someone's company or someone's country, and then you even agree to service or to work in that place. Yes, we agree that these people, they are doing that in terms or because of their forced by hunger or poverty situations that they grew up in or they find themselves in. So the very same people who are hiring those brothers and sisters from respective countries are very wrong, because you should consider, but charity begins at home. Why don't you consider your local before you consider someone outside your area? You understand? So you must make your home more beautiful before you can consider someone outside your home. So that's why they say charity begins at home. Make your home fertile. Employ your South African brothers and sisters before you can consider those people. Those ones from other countries, when they come with a skill, I'm sharp with it. I don't have a problem. They're giving us the skill that we don't know. Because even if you go to Zimbabwe, someone who is doing electrical engineering, they start doing electrical engineering from sub A. If they want to grade 1, they call it grade 1 now. So grade 1 until grade 12, they finish, they go to the work. Those person is having a well experience to be serving as an electrical engineer. So when he comes here with the right documents, right certificates to show that this person is certified to do this work, we appreciate those people. But for to our brothers and sisters who are hiring those people without any documentation to be in this country and take them into consideration in terms of employment, it's very wrong, because you're compromising us South Africans. That is why you find a lot of South African brothers going into drugs, clubbing, involved in neopes and other things, activities which are incriminating of activities. because they have no choice, but they are under pressure.
Yeah.
You know, that's the pressure when you finish grade 12 and you have nowhere to go. You don't have options. Some of them, they go to varsity. After varsity, they are done. They thought they are going to be employed, whereas they are going to join with the likes of Africa, Scammer, and unemployment. So you have to take those guys into consideration, Ali. You understand? Even myself, if I'm running a smaller poultry at home, I should just take 2 or 3 guys. Guys, help me. We'll share whatever that's in the table. It's not just I'm saying compromise. We share everything that is in the table. Appreciation. Even if it's someone that you know, this guy he's really there for us.
Yeah.
Or he's always available and graduate. You go to them, they're not anything. They don't have money for data to come to this podcast. So that person needs to give, calling me, bring my brother, man. I'm not producing enough here, but I see the need of having you here. Because those people can give you the brighter idea to grow your business into a larger space. So you don't have to consider someone who is undocumented and then later on we say the government is not working. Yes, the government is failing us, but we are the one who are failing the government also. Because we put people who are capable us in power. You can't put my grandmother is overseas or grandfather is overseas. Why do you put him in the parliament?
Yeah. On a very quick note, Yeah. All right, we have more Africa's Gemma. All right, that was more Africa's Gemma. Very quick note, my brother, we're running out of time. The show, it has to end very quickly, my Africa's Gemma. I need your view on this one. I know for sure that you are actually saying that you don't have a problem with documented foreigners. The problem you have with undocumented foreigners. Very quickly, in less than a minute, my brother, Ed, we still have another show that is coming live again. How do you wrap up the show? And what is also your message to the general public, those who are watching from different, parts of Africa, joining us live, the likes of Mahatse Mameja, and the likes of I see that the other ones who also try to comment, the likes of Nkateko, Dlamini, and also the other ones. What is your view while we're wrapping it up, show?
Thank you, Brother Ali. My view towards these issues of undocumented foreigners into South Africa is that our government have to take charge. The time is now, and as South Africans, we need to be vigilant. There's time for everything. So if we need change in governance, we should be willing to change the governance. We cannot need change from the same government which is not doing right by us. So we need to change the government so that everything that we need, or we need to see that it has to benefit South African people, or it needs to take South African livelihoods into consideration, is for us to make the change of governance. We can't put all this in the parliament. We can't put this. Let's change so that everything we can be in our favor as the young people of this country. So we need to wake up now so that the consequences that we are going to meet in the future are not going to haunt us. It's us who must fight for everything that is happening in this country. We need to fight. We can't sit back and comment on Twitter and Facebook about how poor the government is. We need to do something. As young people, we need to mobilize, be in numbers, fight against this corruption. We know that there are young people who are eligible, or they have the capacity to fight against this. But because of their situations or their backgrounds, we find them on the way falling apart. They fall apart because some of them are promised heaven and earth. Some of them are given 2,000 rand for that or whatever. But that thing cannot maintain the entire life of your brothers and sisters. We need to unite as South Africans to fight against corruption, crime that is happening in our country, so that we can, our young people who are coming, they also grow up in a safe environment.
Definitely makes sense, my brother. Definitely makes sense. It does definitely make sense. Your points that you have shed to the house, they have shed light to those who have been watching and listening. And I do believe that those who have been joining the show from different parts of Africa, they got the message. We are actually not against our African brothers and our African sisters. Those who are joining from different parts of Africa, we understand the frustration. We are aware that a lot of our brothers and a lot of our sisters whom life is difficult where they're staying. We know what is happening in Zimbabwe. We know what is happening in Kenya. We know what is happening in Malawi. We know what is happening in Zambia. We are with them. We know that there are a lot of people who are actually starving in different African countries. We know that the inflation rate in different African countries is hard hitting our brothers and sisters. We are still blessed in South Africa, where we see that in South Africa, although the inflation is still high, but we're still even being able to buy food. In this discussion that we had with Africa Sejema, we're not actually fighting with our African brothers and our African sisters. We are in support of them as we are all governed by the African Union. African Union is for all the Africans who are living in Africa. We support the Agenda 2063. We support all the policies which are being implemented or which should be implemented by the Agenda 2063. I refer to the African Union. We feel for our African brothers who are in African countries who are staying and still fighting. We are with them. Although the resources in Africa, they are quite scarce. The resources that we have, they are quite limited. If we had enough resources, we'll be able to assist those African brothers and African sisters. It is very painful when you see a mother living with 3 or 4 children in one of the African countries. You see them starving. You see them not being able to survive to be by food. We are also not happy about what is happening. If you go to the South African borders, the likes of your Pet Bridge, and see what is happening there, that's when you understand that those people who are crossing the borders, willing to come to South Africa, they don't want to come to South Africa because of their yet to play. People don't choose for them not to be documented. They don't cross the borders to come to South Africa because it's a choice. People are starving. People don't have even a means to make a play. When you see our African brothers being in South Africa, offering cheap labors to us, it is because they are starving. They don't have a plan for them to survive. That is what they're resorting to. What are we actually doing? We as the South African, I'm referring to me and you, Africa Sejema, and the South Africans that we're having in South Africa. What are we doing to change the situation? To point fingers and keep on complaining and saying that government is failing. A lot of African brothers are coming to South Africa and it results into a high number of unemployment. Yes, we get the point. But the question is that, should we leave our African brothers and African sisters to die in hunger? Should we leave people to die in Africa because of us? We're saying that we don't want them in South Africa? Africa is the one continent. I'm not sure, my brother, if you see the people who are starving in Africa, put yourself into the shoes of what is happening in the other African countries. I'm aware that we have people in South Africa who are into situations whereby they find it difficult to buy bread. I'm putting myself into your shoe and my shoe. I'm aware that there are a lot of people who live in South Africa who still find it difficult each and every day for themselves to be able to buy food. I'm aware that we have a lot of people who are relying from the social grant. I'm aware that we have a lot of people who are graduated from different universities, different college levels. I'm aware that there are a lot of people who have paid or who have documents in order for them to be able to get a job, and they're not able to get a job. I'm aware that in South Africa, we have a lot of people who are finding it difficult. But I can tell you this, in South Africa, there are people who are getting social grants in order for them to be able to survive. I'm asking this question to you, Africa Sejema. In Africa, there are a lot of African countries where they're not even getting any incentive in order for them to be able to buy food. When me and you, Africa, We chase our African brothers and our African sisters, those who are coming from Zimbabwe, those who are coming from Zambia, those who are coming from Malawi, those who are coming from Kenya. When we tell them that they need to go back to where they come from, whatever that you are creating, my brother, is going to be very painful. Put yourself into their shoes. Imagine if you are staying in those countries and now you have to cross the border and go to Botswana. And when you get to Botswana, they are aware about your situation in South Africa. They are aware that in South Africa, people are being killed now and then. They are aware that the inflation level that is happening in South Africa is quite insane. They are aware that there is no more life in South Africa. When you try to cross the border, you don't have money to be able to pay the passport. You don't have money for you to be able to get all the necessary documentation for you to be able to get to the country that they want you to get to. The question is that when you don't have money, in order for you to be able to buy that document, remember, a passport these days is not for free. In order for one to be able to get a passport, you need to have money in order for you to have those passports. I so believe that those people that we have them today in South Africa who are undocumented, those people is not by choice. Those people is not by choice. Majority of those people, they are starving from the countries that they're coming from. If you go and visit those centers where most of the foreigners are being camped, most of the foreigners are being staying, listen to the stories which are being told on the television. Listen to the stories which are not being broadcasted on the radios. Listen to the stories of these people. What has been happening to the countries that they're coming from? People, they stay for months. People stay for days. People stay for years, not being able to get a job. I'm aware that in Zimbabwe and other African countries, there are people who have degrees, honors, masters, people who are educated. People are educated, but they don't have resources or the capacity where they can be able to implement or where they can be able to practice what they went to school. Most of them, they end up resorting to move from the countries where they're staying from to come to South Africa. Why? Because in South Africa, there's a shortage of skill in different things. We have chartered accountants who are coming from Zimbabwe. We have engineers which are coming from different countries. We have people who are even coming from Asia who are doctors in South Africa. Why? Because in South Africa, there are a lot of people who don't have the capacity in order for them to be able to acquire some of those skills. And look at our African brothers. I'm aware I have my African brother who's coming from Asia. I can't mention his name. He's working in the government. He's doing an immense job, a job that is doing great. But my plea to the African brothers and African sisters is that we should not expose our African brothers and African sisters. If we have an issue with them, we rather come with non-profit organizations which their responsibility, it will be to assist our African brothers and sisters. If we sit down with our African brothers coming from different parts of Africa, I'm aware we have guys coming from Zimbabwe who are engineers who don't have proper paperwork. We have people who are engineers who are staying in in South Africa, who don't even know how to perform this thing practically. If we connect an engineer coming from Zimbabwe, we connect an engineer coming from South Africa, we connect these two people to work together. I so believe that these two people are going to form a massive team. One with a qualification, one without a qualification, something big is going to happen. What I'm trying to say, my African Chairman, is that we should not find our African brothers, we should not find our African sisters. These people that belong to Africa, Africa is one. We live within the same soil. We're supposed to blame ourselves as the government. Government did us. We are the one who built the government. We are the one who bring policies. Government is not what those who see on TV. Government is not those who hear on the radios when they're speaking. Ourselves, we are the government. Government is the people of the soil. We are the one who elect the political party that's going to lead us. We are the one who have power to make sure that who's going to control us. If we see a problem, we have to come with a solution how we are going to handle this problem. The problem that we see a high number, an influx number of people who are coming from our African brothers and African sisters countries not being able to afford for them to get the proper documentation. What I'm saying is that we as the South Africans will need to come with solutions to the problems that we're having. It's not a solution for us, we as the Africans, and keep on saying that we rather kill, we rather tell people to go where they belong. That's not how things needs to be done. I'm aware that, as I said, my Africa, lot of our African brothers and African sisters coming from different African countries, these people are assets. These people are assets, my brother. I'm telling you, they're assets. When they come to this country, they're contributing a lot. It hits me hard in my heart when I hear people saying that these Zimbabweans, these Kenyans, these people come from, they need to go back to where they come from. Put yourself into their shoes, my brother. These people, they are starving, my brother. These people, they can't even have a proper shelter. Imagine if it was yourself. If you are staying in a country whereby, like when we started the show, you said there's a possibility that people might be, move from South Africa to Botswana. Imagine if you move to Botswana, you start to enjoy yourself there, then they tell you that go back to South Africa, knowing to what is happening. It's a very tremendous, it's emotional, my brother. It's hard hit. I'm gonna leave you, my Africa Sichema, my brother. Thank you so much, my brother, for taking your time and coming and join the show tonight. It's Global Broadcast, my brother. Thank you so much for taking your time to come and the show. My Africa Sichema. A very emotional show where we were actually wrapping up the show, one of the best show ever. We have my Africa Sichema. He's still on the line. I don't know if maybe you just want to say goodbye to all the people who are joining. It's one of the show which I can tell you that we are actually talking to our African brothers and African sisters in detail, that it's very much important that we have to take that into account. We're aware that we have people who are undocumented in Africa. The problem in Africa that I think we're actually encountering is that most of our African brothers and African sisters, especially South Africans, would need to follow what is happening in other African countries and feel for them, brother, because I see on TV that we have a lot of non-profit organizations or movements. These movements are actually saying that these guys, they need to go back to their countries. For me, it pains a lot, my brother. I put myself in their shoes. If I was staying in Zimbabwe, if I was staying in Kenya, if I was staying in other, like Zambia, and they tell me that I must go back to my country. Africa can tell you that if you look at these African brothers and African sisters, they work so hard, they earn little. But that little thing that they're having, and they can think that they're earning, go and see where they're staying. Go and see the places where they come from home. And you must. Myself and yourself, we spend a lot of money in clothes, we spend a lot of money buying alcohol. It's quite amazing. But for me, my brother, I'd like to take this time and thank you so much for coming and joining the show. It's Global Broadcast. That was my Africa Sichema, who was also joining us. Thank you so much, my brother. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, man. It's much painful of whatever that we committed now. It's so heartbreaking. You really touched some nerves of our viewers. You touched the nerves of our listeners out there. And you reminded me why General Muammar Gaddafi was killed. He needed the United Nations. The imperialistic will never rest until we are in the state we are keeping. I rest my case. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, my Africa Sichema. I'd like to take this time and thank everyone who managed to join the show. You should be aware that whatever that we have been discussing in this show, we were actually unpacking undocumented foreigners, or looking at the immigrants who are coming to South Africa. People who come to South Africa illegally, so people who don't come to South Africa without having papers. We're aware that we have two sides. There are those who are saying that let them pack them bags and go home. We have those who are saying that how can we help them? Because put yourself in their shoes. What happens if we end up being in their situation and we want to go to their countries for help and they tell us that we must go back? Yes, one can say, well, now you don't know. There are people who come to this country intentionally for them to come and cause, harm to us. There are those who, you find that wherever where they're coming from, they have all the resources, but they just want to come to South Africa and cause problems. For me, I say we as the youth of South Africa, let's make sure that we come with solutions how we are going to handle these things. Let's take those African brothers and African sisters, especially those who have skills, the likes of your engineering, your carpentry. Let's form non-profit organization and use these people for us to be able to earn the skill. The moment we earn the skill from them, the moment we assist them to get the proper documents in order for them to be in this country. I would like to take this time and thank everyone for watching the show and joining the show. My name is Ali. I was not alone. Here I was in my Africa Sejema. Thank you so much, my brother. My Africa Sejema was joining the show, my brother. Thank you so much, my brother. I hope love and peace, my brother, enjoying the show. But not to fail, thank you so much, brother. Love and peace, buddy.